Joining us right now, Democratic strategist Nomiki Konst and the Federalist publisher Ben Domenech. Good to see you both. Thanks so much for joining us. Nomiki, interesting to see that Hillary Clinton was tweeting the whole night. Dagan says she was one of the winners of the debate. How'd you see it?
Oh, yeah. It was an infomercial for the Democratic Party.
Really?
She's Teflon at this point. I mean, you can throw anything at her, and with the other side, it's divide and conquer, right? So Donald Trump has been dividing the Republican Party, but it only benefits the Democrats. So I think she fared on top of this.
But Ben, how did you see it?
I thought that this was probably Donald Trump's weakest debate. It was one where he really seemed to be on his heels most of the time, and I thought it was very good night for Ted Cruz overall. Marco Rubio did fine, but was hampered a little bit by seeming to be a little under the weather. At the same time, I think this is one that doesn't really change the state of the race all that much. It was interesting, though, to see, an issue where you had the kind of discussions that you don't typically see within presidential stakes. I disagree with Nomiki, of course. She has a candidate who's running away right now with the Democratic Party because of the system that they have with their superdelegates. Hillary Clinton is one of the most unpopular politicians in the history of the United States, okay? And she's going to be their nominee without having been tested by anyone to her right, having been pulled significantly to the left. This is going to make for an interesting contest, and obviously I think that that's something, regardless of who the Republican nominee is, that's going to be exploited when it comes to a general election.
I agree with all of that. I will say this. You said that it was Donald Trump's weakest debate, but you don't think it's going to shape the debate going forward. You don't think that he loses anything longer term in terms of him marching toward the nominee?
I don't think that Donald Trump necessarily represents an incident of, shall we say, electoral dysfunction when it comes to the Republican Party. I do think that he represents a significant and sizable group of people across the country who want to see dramatic change when it comes to the GOP. And I think that they're getting their voices heard.
To Nomiki, Hillary Clinton's not Teflon. She is barely tinfoil at this point.
I agree with you.
And numbers don't move, though. I mean, it's crazy.
But they have to trust her, Nomiki.
These candidates
Trump either
from the GOP need to be worried about that, though. They have an opportunity. I know that Cruz and Rubio are focused on trying to take down Donald Trump because this is their last gasp, if you will. Because if he wins Ohio and Florida, not next week, but the week after, then it's pretty much over.
The 15th is
But Hillary Clinton, the State Department employee, has gotten immunity. Like, they went half an hour into this debate and her name came up one time. But he's talking about, something I'm going to have to explain to my mother later in the day.
The Democrats can take any of those clips from last night. I mean, there were 150 of them, and put them in ads. It doesn't even matter.
And the Mitt Romney speech yesterday.
Exactly.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, what, all of this is going in a Democratic ad.
If I were advising Hillary Clinton right now, I would be putting those clips away, memorizing these quotes, and getting ready for the attacks on Donald Trump, because there's no doubt about it. He's going to attack her, he's going to go for the jugular, and she doesn't do well on the defensive.
Yeah, but Ben, what about that? I mean, Dagan's saying, look, why aren't they focusing more on the real enemy here for them, and that would be Hillary Clinton? But isn't this the time? They've got 2 weeks. If Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz are really going to try, or the Republicans, the establishment, really going to try to make a dent in Donald Trump's rise, they've only got 2 weeks. March 15th is Florida. It's over if he wins most of these contests going into Florida.
Which is why I honestly think that within the next 10 days, Marco Rubio needs to get out of the race if he actually wants to have any hope of having an effect of stopping Donald Trump from being the nominee.
So you think Marco Rubio should come out, endorse Ted Cruz, and be done?
Ted has clearly a much clearer path at this point. You heard from Lindsey Graham the other day, not someone who is typically a fan of Ted Cruz, shall we say, admitting that he was the one that could potentially block Donald Trump. I think at the same time, this is a situation where the Republican establishment is waking up far too late to really make a difference in this situation. They have not been running the kind of ads or the campaign against Donald Trump that they could have to this point. It's kind of the situation where, Mitt Romney, that's a nice thing for you to say. Why weren't you saying this 3 months ago? Because that's the sort of point where it could have made a difference.
That's been asleep at the wheel for the past 9 months.
About 40 years in terms of many voters in this country who've lost their jobs and lost their businesses.
Yeah, and they had an opportunity last night that they could have gone after Hillary Clinton much more. and they just didn't go there. We're at a crucial point right now where they're still going after each other so much.
They want to take Donald Trump down.
And it's going to hurt the GOP. You know, ultimately, it's having a negative impact. And like you said, they're going to be running all those clips and all those ads, and it's really going to come and backfire on the Republican Party.
Ted Cruz got Donald Trump to say, in 2008, I supported Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, amazing.
Hello.
That's an ad right there.
That is an ad.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I'm sure it's running somewhere right now.
Yeah, you're right.
On Hillary Clinton's Twitter. Yeah.
Not her ad, but Cruz is definitely going to be putting together some ads. He's got a big war chest, remember? He had double the amount of money going into February than Marco Rubio did.
So can he do it? Can he take down Donald Trump? You got to prevent Donald Trump from winning both. I just said this: Ohio and Florida. Those are going to be critical. But their caucus is coming up this weekend. Kentucky. Donald Trump has not done well in caucuses. Yeah, we're going to be
right. You know,
that's right. He doesn't do as well in caucuses as his primaries.
Right.
Yeah.
So it will be very interesting to see. And maybe this hurts him. Maybe it hurts. Maybe flexibility is not what his supporters want.
Well, I think the American people saw a different side to him last night.
Me too.
So if they pay attention to that, this could be a bit of a game changer.
Yeah,
is there a ceiling? Do you think that the ceiling is Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio's support is that ceiling? Like it will not, their support will not go down, so his support will not go up. Meaning, if Marco Rubio were to endorse Ted Cruz, will that support never move away from Ted Cruz? Nobody knows.
The support, I would say the support goes to Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio support, but I don't. You never know. I mean, you never know if actually him stepping down goes to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You just don't know. Ben, good to see you. Thank you so much, sir.
Good to see you.
Nomiki, great to see you as well. We appreciate it. We'll see you soon, both of you. Come